Here is the Micromake 3D printer I ordered from AliExpress. I've seen them advertised anywhere from $250 to $875 from China. I noticed there's no YouTube tutorials on how to use it, and it came with no English instructions or English support, and only in Chinese. Though it seems like a very good quality product. There's very similar printers with similar design and principles that are available in English, and I pieced together how to put the thing together. This is the actual second thing I've attempted to print out, and still need to learn a lot about how to do settings of the head speed and temperature and thickness of layers and that type of thing. But pointing out how it works in general, there's three stepper motors that drive belts that move this little carriage that uses rollers from a shower door style. These that position this print head that's heated and monitored with a thermocouple through these wires that all go down to a circuit board under here, which has an Arduino type microprocessor. This can plug into the computer or a power supply in the wall, or you can print your device off by putting an SD card in the display here, which has a scrolling up and down push button type of display. This is a speaker. That's a reset button, which is very important as you're trying to get this thing to work. There are, up on the top, there's little switches which tell the computer that the carriage has reached the top and will stop its motion. It also uses those to center itself and position itself as its starting position. This particular device has a auto leveling configuration in the print head, where the print head swivels. A little piece of plastic holding the print head swivels up and down slightly to push a switch right here. Or I configured it like some other older styles that I saw on the internet, that you put a little metal probe down here that touches the plate on the bottom, turns the switch on and off. After a great deal of effort, I discovered the Cura software, C-U-R-A, contains the drivers for the microprocessor and the firmware for the microprocessor for this particular version of a 3D printer, which is called Micromake. Some of the differences between this and any of the ones I could find support for were the ways these belts attached and the design of these rollers that go up and down. These components are 3D printed but came intact when I purchased the device. Also, after putting on the rollers here, you can, this whole triangular assembly on top can drop down and then be lifted back up to adjust the tension on this, and some screws right up here that can be used to adjust the tension. You look here, this is, and as you'll see, each of these machines has their own way that they design their extruder. This uses basically a bicycle cable. The filament goes through here. There is a serrated gear here which grabs the filament that extrudes through here. The tension on the filament is adjusted by this screw right here and a little screw in this slot. I think I figured all this out by trial and error. I didn't have any instructions in English. The only instructions were on the site called Youku, which is a Chinese equivalent of YouTube. All the videos in Chinese. There was no way to translate them that I knew of, but watching them was excruciatingly difficult because the download speed's about 30 times slower than YouTube. Not surprising, coming all the way from China. I saw the video I watched only had 3 views on it, so I doubt none of them were by anyone speaking English. Also, the I'm not sure where they're selling all these things, but there's a lot of them advertised on the internet under the name Micromake. And you'll see this design of printer It's also called a Delta printer because of the 3 supports that it uses to position the printing head, and also the Kossel design, I guess named after some old inventor in years past in his honor. And one of the things better about this printer than the ones I've seen is that the arrangement of these rollers on the side, which help position the print head, and there's tension adjusting screws on here and here to really obtain a great more precision with its action than what I would have expected. It also has a sort of a freestanding action that you do not need to have an external computer driving it if you have a small STL file or in any larger G-code kind of card that you can slide in here. I would have had a much easier time if they had just given me the one clue of using the Cura software. Interestingly, the picture, all the different vendors which sell this machine seem to use the same pictures, but their machines are slightly different actually, and the stuff in the package had a number of variations, though was quite similar to what was in the picture on their ad. Also in their ad they seem to catch your search by using the names of as many different similar printers as possible in their headline on their ads. Anyway, if you want to get a Micromake printer, I found this to be a very good quality and seems to be working well. These posts, which are a standard hardware item, are actually larger and thicker than most of the other devices that I've seen out here. They're 20 by 20 millimeters instead of the typical 15 by 15 millimeter hardware. I have a glass plate that isn't heated, though the software and hardware support seems to come with provisions for heating. If you're building your own from scratch in parts, you'll find your most expensive items are going to be the print head and the stepper motors. Most of the other materials can be bought at a hardware store or ordered off the internet. Certainly the screen monitoring it isn't a necessity, and the Arduino board, which I have underneath it, and the drivers for the stepper motors are pretty widely available. I think their particular board here is very nice, but again had no instructions, and no one else has a similar board that I can find, so I'm still figuring out the different things you can do with it. It is sort of interesting to see as we're printing. It tells me how much printing filament I've used, the temperature of the print head, which right now is set to be 210, and I actually thought I'd set it at 190. I'm not sure what happened. And here's at any particular moment the position of the print head. We can also scroll through files on the SD card and choose a file to be printed, which I've tested that out and seems to work just fine. Cura software is particularly nice, I think, because it allows orientation, changing shape of your printed object. It'll print from all the standard three-dimensional files. I'm using an STL file right now. It also will produce the G-code, has the slicing function with many options which I have yet to explore in the software. I have a $1,200 printer purchased from Amazon, which I felt like I had gotten a good deal on, as it had recently been $2,000. I think this one is doing just as good a job. And this I've seen, I paid about $300 for mine. Doing a little research, I've found them for as little as $250. Probably could find them for even less. There seems to be quite a lot of competition in the Chinese market. I don't think the ones identical machines selling for $850 or $1,000 are an iota difference. They're just expect to find a great deal of price variation like that in these items. Printer stepper motors like this can be ordered from AliExpress for as little as $5, but they may cost as much as $70 here in the United States. So there are some ways to build a very cheap quality 3D printer if you're a do-it-yourselfer.